All right, welcome back to the Fucking Socks the Podcast, episode 151. Today on the show, this protester let Joe Manchin have it, and we're going to show you why we don't listen to these types. Then, we show you how far Europe has fallen because of migration, so we know what to expect here in the U.S. Then, in Cringe of the Week, this mom has 4 trans kids. We're going to go over the mathematical possibility of that. Hint, the math ain't mathin'. Then, last but not least, in Urban Decay, Six Flags opened in Atlanta. And if you're a show watcher, it probably went how you'd expect. All this and more is Fucking Socks the Podcast, episode 151, ranked the best new podcast of all time.
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words. But at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's Fucking Socks the Podcast featuring Richard Graham.
All right, 1 for 1 on the intro, as always. Guys, if you're like me, you're constantly looking for ways to trick your brain into breaking your bad habits. And I'm here today to tell you that I found a product that does just that. I'm not talking about seeing a hypnotist or taking pills or going to talk to a doctor. I'm talking about our sponsor, Fume. Fume helps you redirect your actions from bad habits to just habits so you can accomplish your goals without drastic, unsustainable changes. Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavored air device. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses delicious flavors. Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy, and it makes replacing your bad habits easy. Fume tastes great and is fun to fidget with. Start with a new good habit by going to tryfume.com/Fleckus and pick up their journey pack today. That's tryfume.com, tryfum.com/Fleckus. The code Fleckus will give you 10% off at checkout. Tryfume.com/Fleckus is the site. Link is below. Thank you guys for watching. Now let's get into housekeeping. All right. Thank you to Fume for sponsoring.
Thank you, Fume.
It's very important to break your bad habits.
It is.
That's why we're happy to have Fume as a sponsor on the show. All right. We have a very important housekeeping. Hope everyone had a nice weekend. We are back with our Tuesday episode. 5 pages of housekeeping.
Ooh.
So Rapway might not be happy about that, but we have really good stories.
No, I'm happy just when it's not schizophrenic nothing.
Well,
that's what I'm happy.
We'll see what we come up with.
Okay.
We have a lot to get to, a lot of good cringe, a lot of good urban. We're going to start our housekeeping with the protester that confronted Joe Manchin at Harvard, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Let's let it rip.
You sick fuck. How dare you?
He just gets tossed.
It's called getting thrown out of the saloon.
Yeah, it's called getting chest passed. And, you know, this is who's trying to ruin everything. It's like a pencil neck midwit who thinks real life is Twitter and, like, one side is irredeemably bad and the other side's the good guys. And they get in your face and then end up getting folded up like a lawn chair.
Yeah, getting in your face, yelling that you're a sick fuck, and then for somehow being on the absolute back of your heels, waiting to get thrown out. Like, you'd think there'd be like a little, you sick fuck, and then he kind of tense up, like ready, but he's just, I don't know, didn't think it was going to happen to him.
Just got absolutely launched.
Yeah. And Manchin laundered the launch through his security, so Manchin's clean. That's how you handle it.
And then the launcher wasn't even that huge or jacked, just kind of in the market to semi-launch, and the other guy was very launchable.
Exactly.
That's how it plays out. But the protester, that's who wants to fundamentally change America. That's who wants to put MAGA Republicans in camps.
Of course.
And that's also why the deep
He's calling it Democrat. He's like Joe Manchin is a moderate Democrat, and he's calling him a sick fuck.
And that's too extreme for certain Democrats.
Yeah.
And then this is also why the powers that be, the bad guys, they want to lower our testosterone levels so they can keep their stolen power easier.
Exactly.
They don't think that this is type of thing is going to happen. So this is like a weak man who is doing the biddings of the deep state.
Yeah, that's a weak man looking to create hard times, but he can't quite accomplish it.
Hey, Joe Manchin, you're not letting me create hard times enough.
Yeah.
You sick fuck. He just gets launched. Which is why we say on the show, it's a very good time to become unpinnable and be trending towards being less pinnable every day. Because when we don't, the elites will actually use our men in humiliation rituals. Like this example right here playing in the background. There's some men here that are doing a domestic violence awareness thing by walking in high heels.
Yeah.
And in reality, it's like the elites presenting, here's the men that are supposed to stop us. Mm-hmm. You know, the elites are obviously doing very bad things, and these are the men, I guess, that are supposed to stop us, is how they see it. And they put them in these shoes, they put them in high heels, and here you go. Here's society how we want it, and the men that are supposed to stop it, they're in high heels walking around the streets.
Yeah, the cops are. And what is
humiliating themselves.
To stop domestic violence, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Imagine some guy got in traffic, and he's like, fucking guys in red heels, I can't even get home. And he fucking takes it out on his wife. They actually accelerated domestic violence by doing this.
They made it actually way worse.
Yeah. And to me, this is just peak virtue signal. They got in their little outfits, their heels, they walked around. If 6 of these guys went to one wife beater's house and kind of like roughed him up or intimidated him or something, it would have been more productive. More would have been done than whatever this empty shit is, right?
That's such a good point. Yeah, the heel walking doesn't do anything, but if you actually call out and make a
find
point,
a guy,
find a wife beater and make a point about it, that would actually get more done.
Yeah, we're raising awareness on domestic violence, the thing that happens in the home where nobody else is around to see it, and then it's on the wife to report it. Like, how is marching around in a parade going to help that?
Yeah.
So it's empty.
But the elites do it as a humiliation ritual. They want our men walking around in heels, and then, you know, they do whatever they want over time, and they eventually get away with it. And then when they do, they put articles like this out. It's official. We can pretty much treat COVID like the flu now. Here's a guide.
Yeah.
You know, so after small businesses were destroyed, after money was printed and inflation happened and our dollar kind of got destroyed, after schools were wrecked and the experimental vaccine got put in everyone's arm, it turns out that was just basically the flu.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, but everyone's too low T to do anything about it, and they go back to their little pods and wait for their schlop so they can eat it.
Yeah, I remember a few guys on a fat podcast who were calling it the flu years ago. So, I mean, you know, see, this is another one of those like, 4 years later, here you go. Here's the crumbs. They eventually correct it, so you can't say that they didn't correct it.
Yeah.
But by the time it matters, Walmart got all the money, the small businesses are gone, and you're out of the military.
Yeah, we were just going off of the info we had at the time. It's like, so were we, and we got it all right.
Crazy.
It was actually really right in front of us.
We were just going off the info we had and then suppressing all the info you had and then demonizing you and trapping you out of your accounts.
Getting you deleted for saying it. But now, it turns out it's just a weird flu.
Yeah.
And then obviously everything in society is trending towards gayer, especially for men. Mm-hmm. And when you start to realize that things are a little gayer than they should be, the media does their best to cover up what's going on. So then they have articles like this.
Photographers in Hawaii have captured 2 male humpback whales having sex in what experts say is the first time the species has been documented exhibiting sexual activity of any kind.
So they're just doing some cover fire. Oh, gay. Everyone's gay. Whales are gay. You know, maybe everyone being gay these days isn't that crazy. The whales are gay.
And most people saw just this headline and go, wow, that's weird. But this is kind of a dark article. Can I read this really quick?
Please.
The encounter occurred between one male whale who appeared unhealthy or injured and a strong and healthy male whale, the report stated. The whale that received penetration, the bottom whale, was visibly emaciated and covered in whale lice that can proliferate on humpback whales that have lost mobility. So this was just like a Chad whale rape of an emaciated whale. So it's like they call it gay and homosexual. It's like this one whale was like, "What's up? What's up? Oh, here's a weak whale.
Here's a half-dead whale."
The emaciated whale circled the boat and attempted to swim away from the healthier whale, the report said.
Like, it's like a rape.
It's like a dark rape.
But it's normal in society. Yeah. But obviously people are waking up to it. Everyone knows the media lies. The more they lie, the harder it is to believe the lie. Mm-hmm. And that's why we have the decline of mainstream news. We have here a graph. Fox is down 16% viewership, CNN down 16%, CNBC down 16%, Washington Post almost 15%, 15% for Bloomberg. Everything's trending towards down because you can't keep saying nothing and bullshit over and over and expect people to listen to it.
Yeah, it turns out people don't like the fake world. They like the real info. And so, I mean, even Fox, this is right and left wing. It's all just mainstream media who follows those like rules about what you can and can't talk about. And they're missing the Overton window. There's so much more to talk about than what they'll actually discuss.
Exactly. And we actually have a graph that depicts exactly that. We have a graph that compares the mainstream media coverage when it's a black victim versus when it's a white victim. So George Floyd articles, there was 175,000.
Yeah, 178K.
178K.
This is for unarmed victims who die at the hands of police.
And then, so you have all these, on the right is all black victims, how many there are. And then we have the white victims on the left. And our biggest white victim article is like 3,000 articles.
Yeah, which I've never even heard of.
Yeah.
Justine Diamond. I missed that one. But somebody was cranking out articles that got nowhere, I guess.
Yeah. So if you're awake to it, it's obvious trash. And if you're asleep to it, the media is painting some dark reality.
Yeah.
And some dark narrative of what's actually going on, which isn't actually going on.
Yeah, and then Elon quoted this. He said, the biggest lie the legacy media makes is narrative, choosing what to write about and what not to write about. And obviously that's true. It's like, okay, I'll focus on all the effects of climate change, and I won't focus on government corruption or any sort of thing. Like, when's the last time you've read an expose of what happened in the Biden admin or something that came from the Washington Post or the LA Times or one of the leftist journals, right? Like, we have some right-wing counterparts, but they're explicitly right-wing news organizations, right? So it's like, I don't know, it's becoming more tribal, and then, what they spend time focusing on is what really matters. And it does, like, humans are simple. If you hear something over and over and over and over again, even if it's not that convincing, it's going to have an effect, right?
Exactly. And that's how you kind of lose the fabric of the country. And all these media organizations, their thing they have in common is they have an anti-white agenda.
Yeah.
And they want to like reshape the foundation of America. And you kind of wonder to yourself, where is America still America? There's probably some rural pockets where you kind of have like a true American experience. And then John Doyle had an interesting tweet too. He said, if you want to experience old school America, just wake up early. Can you give that a read?
Yeah, forget who said it, but everyone who is up and about between 4 to 6 a.m. has a good reason to be. If you want to experience what America used to be like, get up early. It feels strangely liminal for some reason.
Yeah, 4 to 6 a.m. I would even say 4 to 8 a.m.
And that's the thing, like, if Chicago, any major city, just go look at the commuters. That's who's like the real backbone. And you forget, because all the money needs to go to some migrant or some homeless guy who shit his pants. Or, you know what I mean? And the people who are making up the meat and potatoes of a city, they're doing a very specific thing during those work hours and commute hours and stuff like that. So
yeah, exactly. The 6:30 a.m. train, that's still Americana.
Yeah.
So obviously, like we said, rural America is where you get some pockets of true Americana. Don't worry, the media is working on that. Look at this story where they're blaming white rural rage for all the country's problems.
Why are white rural voters a threat to democracy at this point? You would think, as we pointed out, looking at Joe Biden's background and Donald Trump's, that the opposite would be true.
I mean, we lay out the fourfold interconnected threat that white rural voters pose to the country. First of all, and we show 30 polls and national studies to demonstrate this. So we provide the receipts in Chapter 6. They're the most racist, xenophobic, anti-immigrant, and anti-gay geodemographic group in the country. Second, they're the most conspiracist group. QAnon support and subscribers, election denialism, COVID denialism and scientific skepticism, Obama birtherism. Third, anti-democratic sentiments. They don't believe in an independent press, free speech. They're most likely to say the president should be able to act unilaterally without any checks from Congress or the courts or the bureaucracy. They're also the most strongly white nationalist and white Christian nationalists. And fourth, they are most likely to excuse or justify violence as an acceptable alternative to peaceful public discourse.
Oh, we're the most likely to do violence. So with everything going on, illegal immigration obviously through the roof, urban crime through the roof, quality of life in cities at an all-time low, resources being wasted at an all-time high, and the problem the media reports is white rural rage.
Yeah, those guys who are currently not in power in any way, totally disenfranchised by Joe Biden policy. It's like, that's the threat to democracy. And it's like, well, that's weird because that doesn't match with, there's a narrative versus reality matching thing that needs to happen. And these guys, all they can do is narrative. You can't even like find a hate crime recently.
It has to be made up.
You can't even find one recently. And these guys are just the henchmen, the narrative enforcers.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it makes you think like the white rural people must be killing each other over nothing on Facebook Live with Glocks with switches all the time.
Yeah.
Is that what's going on? We must be running through 7-Eleven with 20 of our friends and just emptying the place.
Probably.
That's got to be what it's at. So the media focuses on that while we have obviously third world migrants coming over. We're going to get into our migrant section here. I wanted to focus this week on what's going on in Europe.
Yeah.
Because Europe obviously opened the floodgates to third world migrants earlier than we did.
Europe's got a nice little pathway from Libya. Africans nice to like to come up. So they have a different flavor of migrants than us, but there's some overlapping.
But we're working on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Believe me.
They have a different type of migrant class, but we are probably, I'd say, a year or two behind them, and we're working on catching up. Look what happened in Paris. First of all, we have, these Russian people went to Paris, and they say, where are all the French?
Вот коренные французы.
Тут одни коренные французы.
Одни коренные французы. Видите? Вот Франция, ребят. Я же ничего не придумываю.
So we get it, but everyone's from some African country.
Everyone's very dark.
Very dark.
It's not even just like some light brown. It's all very dark, pure African.
And it's 95% of the people.
Yeah.
And then we had this other clip from tourists who were in Paris. How would you describe this? The guy was using a translator app?
Yeah, this was a nice white girl on TikTok who was going to the Eiffel Tower to get some pictures, and she was constantly harassed by Turkish and unknown minority types and solicited for offers for sex.
Oh, let's hear it.
Come to the hotel with me? No.
Can you leave us the alone?
No, please leave us alone. Yeah. What?
How much?
How much for sex? 0.
Zero?
No, like no. It's a no. No, not possible. Like at all.
So France, toast.
Gone.
That's where French toast comes from.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
The French are toast.
Is that in your notes? Is that in your housekeeping notes?
Toast.
Oh my God.
French are toast.
And I mean, this is someone's daughter. This is some nice girl who's clearly an American who wants to go and see the cultured world that she was sold, right? And she's harassed by some guy using a Turkish Google Translate, a tool America invented. Google Translate.
Saying how much for sex?
Well, no,
come back
just
to my hotel.
come back to my hotel room in Turkish. And it's like, what are we going to do there, Turkish guy? Am I going to be able to leave?
Exactly. And good thing, hey, some aren't as polite.
Yeah.
Good thing he was asking. A lot of times they kind of just start acting on it.
Yeah, I have a feeling she got out of there quickly, but if she stayed a little later, you can guarantee some gropes and it would get physical.
Exactly, which is what happened in Germany. There was a 14-year-old girl in Germany who kind of gave a presentation about what life is like for Germans now. And Rapboy's going to read the subtitles in English.
Friends of mine are afraid of going to the city because of the so-called isolated incidents. We don't feel safe anymore in the city, neither at the mall nor even in school. There are more police walking around the city, which would be totally unnecessary if there weren't these constant incidents in the city. Girls are very careful about not dressing too provocatively and about not being noticed, talked to, or worse. Regardless of what we deserve, we have not been able to live carefree and lighthearted anymore in our own country for the longest time.
Well, that's enough.
Yeah.
So it's very sad.
Yeah, this is a 15-year-old girl who's hyper aware of and she's using the isolated incidents. Like it's they have their own memes there. Yeah. That's like heartless mugger. Here, we have our own shit.
Non-bowlers.
Yeah.
So, like, it's sad that obviously the white guilt in Germany is what allowed this. Everyone felt guilty for being white. They were convinced about that from a small group of people. And then, boom, open up your doors. You're not racist. Have all these third worlders here.
Yeah. I don't even necessarily know if it is the white guilt or if it's like white guilt on a small percentage of the population that was used to justify the importation of them by the political class, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. Anyone who's tried to stop it at the right time would have been called racist or whatever, and at this point it's too late.
And it's funny because obviously Democrats try to be like the party of women and women's rights and whatever, and it's like, women's rights. I got raped by a literal third worlder. Oh, Women's rights, Laken Riley, literally killed by a violent third worlder. So it's like, what? I don't, how do you rectify the two?
Yeah, exactly. Well, people are getting mad. This guy got pushed in the water when he was pissing. So this is in Europe, I believe. A migrant peeing in public. And he gets pushed in.
Pushed in the canal. Like Joe Manchin's security guard.
Yeah. So there is some uplifting within it.
Yeah. But it's a fight. That's the point. You're going to have to fight and you're going to have to earn it.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And I was thinking, you know, there's a lot of third worlders that want to come here. I found a few clips of some people that I think we should bring here to America. First is the woman with her face in poop. Look at that. This is cow poop. And she's got her face in it.
There she is.
Yeah. I think we should get her into a luxury hotel in New York for a year or so.
Taxpayer subsidized?
Take care of all of her food and water and costs and clean the hotel room every day.
Smart.
In Manhattan, the most expensive area code in the country.
Yeah.
And there's these other people from Africa. They're telling everyone their names.
What's your name? What's your own name?
Shakuku.
What?
Shakuku.
What's your name? Donya.
That's okay.
What's your name? Eh?
I feel like these guys are doing a bit.
I like that. Chow. We got to get him to Boston.
Yeah.
You never been to Quincy Market?
No.
These guys would love Quincy Market. It's like a huge outdoor mall kind of with all these stores. We got to let these guys loose in Quincy Market.
Absolutely.
I let them Danya.
Hey, some people just need to stay where they are.
Yeah.
Shelter in place. You're in the society you're meant to be in, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you think you're going to come to America and help us and culturally enrich us, why don't you help yourself?
Yeah. None of them think that they're going to culturally enrich America,
Of course
too.
not.
They're on their own selfish little mission, and that's just an excuse that our elites use.
And then our last clip is a person who's catching bugs at night for food. By hitting them in.
He goes to the bug pile.
And he hits them in with his hands. Not even a net. A net would probably be better.
Yeah.
A net over the top would probably catch them all. But he just swats them in with his hands.
That's good enough for him, man.
We need someone like this to come to America so where they can open up a restaurant.
Yeah.
There's like a new bug spot in
Cricket
Brooklyn.
stew, yeah.
New bug spot in Bushwick. We eat all the bugs chopped up. So we need this in America. And okay, we're going to move on to some more migrant stuff, but it's a little sadder and less jokes. There's an abandoned kid at the border. This was actually very sad. This is just part of the mass migration process and what happens to children along the way.
¿Ah? ¿Qué pasó?
I was walking with a group and I don't know where they're at.
No sabes dónde están.
They left you alone.
¿Te dejaron solo botado? ¿No vienes con mami o con papi o con nadie? ¿Vienes con tu mamá o tu papá?
All right.
Very sad.
Yeah, you get the point.
They just left a kid behind.
Yeah, and there was actually another example. Troopers in Eagle Pass for Texas Border Patrol recovered a 5-year-old unaccompanied child from Honduras who crossed with a group of 49 illegal immigrants. The child had a note with a name, phone number, and address to St. Louis, Missouri.
Great.
So, God forbid that note got lost or anything happened, right?
St. Louis, the middle of the country.
Yeah. Hey, you guys bust people in, right? Like the migrants know they can count on
send this kid to St. Louis.
The goodwill of Border Patrol, right?
Absolutely crazy. Last clip of our migrant section. This is kind of funny to me. There's a black homeless guy talking to a person from an Asian country, and this is how it went.
Hey, you Chinese? No, I'm Vietnamese. Me too. I'm black Vietnamese. Yeah. Hey, see y'all later.
Hey, he cracks himself up.
And he goes, see y'all later.
Yeah.
Like, it's just very much Americana. All right, well, that's the end of our migrant section. We're still in housekeeping. Make sure you guys use this opportunity to help us tickle the post, juice the algo, leave a like, leave a comment again, then start yapping about what you want to yap about. Notifications need to be on, and our P.O. box needs to be filled.
Stop.
We got so much good stuff.
Yeah, we got a lot of good stuff.
We're going to do a shout out this Friday from some of the good stuff we got. Thank you guys for sending. All right, last 2 pages of housekeeping, or actually last page and a half. We have a Trump update. Supreme Court says he's on the ballot, 9-0, unanimous decision.
Couldn't even get Ketanji Brown Jackson to side with you.
That would have been such an easy one.
She loves to yap. She writes her opinions like they smart.
Yeah, you couldn't even get that one.
9-0. I mean, it says it all, right?
Yeah. So sorry.
And then Keith Olbermann had some sort of meltdown, talking about piss in his face or something on Twitter.
He's getting pissed on.
I don't know, but that guy, something got really wrong with him. The Trump derangement people, when you shut down their pipe dreams, when the Supreme Court shuts down a pipe dream of that CNN is parroting, and then everyone's like, yeah, this is it. This is the one. They don't handle it well. So
they're always caught completely off guard.
Isn't that crazy?
Like 9-0 decision, and they go, what happened? We need to dissolve the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court needs to go. And it's like, bro, is it first time here? And we're at the point now where Trump has been around since 2016, late 2015, 2016. So we're on 8 years of like the media almost, or, the law almost having him.
He just got away.
It's kind of turning into some Looney Tunes shit.
Yeah,
where Wile E. Coyote always shows up, but he never gets him, right?
It's some Rocky and Bullwinkle type shit.
Yeah, there's a big mallet, and then Keith Olbermann goes, what? He's not there. He lifts up the mallet. So
they try to slingshot him, and then he misses, and then gets slingshotted himself.
Yeah, anything. Whatever you want. Whatever cartoon allegory you want to make.
I remember.
I know, but it's turning into like parody almost.
Yeah. And then Nikki Haley, she won her first primary, finally. Congrats, Nikki Haley. You
Congrats,
won D.C.
Nikki. Washington, D.C. beat Trump by 29.7%.
The literal swamp. And D.C., if you guys don't know, I believe is 98% Democrat.
Yeah.
So there you go there. Yeah, so congrats to Nikki Haley. She got one under the belt. Gives her more reason to stay in the race.
Yeah, keep staying. Keep spending money. And like, who are the donors? They're just burning cash. Man, that kind of reminds me of how not rich I am. Imagine burning cash on Nikki Haley.
That would be good.
You must be rich. Congratulations, you guys. You're wasting your time. You're spinning your wheels, but man.
You must have a lot of Pepe coin.
At least.
All right, moving on. Remember the mayor of Illinois, that city in Illinois? Do you remember?
Dalton,
Illinois, and that woman was accused of embezzling money and being corrupt.
Yeah, she would pay cops to do overtime hours for her own purposes and was putting up billboards for herself. It was all self-aggrandizement using city funds, right?
Yeah, so she was brought onto the Black Star Network where she was going over what happened and all the accusations, and here's what she said.
About showing people that everybody been lying this entire time doing a smear campaign. So now I'm going to show them, and then now you judge. Because y'all all judging, meaning people out there are judging off of hearsay, false allegations, and not...
False allegations. And not even you messed up the word. She just thinks it's allegations.
Yeah. That's someone who's never read the word. That's what that rings to me.
Allegations. It's an absolute ballpark.
It's one of those things where you ballpark it and then it's like, okay, now I have to go back. She just said hearsay a second before that. Does she know what that means? Does she know what embezzlement means?
Hearsay means I heard you say it.
The definition of fraud, Yeah. Actually, hearsay is an easy one. Yeah. She should be able to back into hearsay.
Knows, yeah. Well, I heard.
But yeah, so that's the level, when you talk about, we need diversity or we need representation, and then it's just okay, so someone black has to be the mayor, and then who's that? I don't know, anyone? Someone who's corrupt, who has no experience or anything?
And then they get put into positions of power. Basically, I see what you're saying, and I absolutely agree. Mm-hmm. I think there's a bigger agenda behind that whole theme.
You think they're tapped?
Exactly. You put a person like this, a black person, into power after you convince them that the reason things are messed up or the reason why their life isn't great is because white people are oppressing them. Mm-hmm. So you put an anti-white black person into power who's basically seeking revenge. You put them in a position of power. They don't really know what to do in power, so they end up embezzling money and doing some inside con jobs, nothing good, kind of corrupt.
Yeah, wait, I control this budget?
Yep. And then they do things that you shouldn't do in a position of power to get revenge on white people. And if you ever stray from the agenda, they can come over the top and go, we got you embezzling. You should keep doing the plan or you'll just get kicked out and replaced with someone else.
That's true.
I actually had a dream that same technique was used in the 2020 election in swing counties in Michigan and Georgia and all these places. In my dream, you had black women in power that were trying to get revenge on white people and ended up committing treason?
Election fraud at a minimum? Treason at a
Literal
max?
treason,
Yeah.
but you don't know what really treason is, and you know we can't have Donald Trump again. We got to get Donald Trump out of power. We got to do whatever you can, and the powers that be don't want to do that themselves, but they have a little proxy.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, you're oppressed. Donald Trump did this. Can't let him win again. George Floyd. You need to commit election fraud.
Yeah, and then pretty much all like embezzlement / corruption, misappropriation of funds, that's kind of under the FBI's purview, but they're really busy posting white women shoplifters and not doing anything. So
Yeah, but if they stray away, if this person goes, actually, I don't want to keep doing this agenda, then the FBI will show up like they do with Eric Adams.
Yeah.
Once he starts saying, hey, what are these illegals doing here? What's going on? Then office gets raided.
I want to make New York not a sanctuary city, or at least give us ourselves a tool to get the violent offenders immediately out.
Then they raid your office and go, give us all your phones.
Yeah.
We have to see what you've been doing.
Yeah.
So you either play ball or you get kicked out. All right, moving on. Something a little more lighthearted. Balenciaga released some new shoes. I know we're not pro Balenciaga, but these are kind of lit.
What are these future hybrid soccer cleats? This is the type of shit you see in the Hunger Games. They put these on the Hunger Games.
Yeah, or like the bad guy from Sonic would wear that to go fast to catch Sonic.
Yeah. What did Balenciaga do again? Devil shit? Demon shit?
The demon with the child stuff.
Okay.
Remember
yeah.
that?
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, hey, if you guys have an extra $6,000 lying around.
Yeah, this is something like a Will Smith character would use. Like, what's that, Hancock?
Yeah.
He'd put these on and they'd be in a superhero outfit.
All right, let's move on. Our last thing from this page of housekeeping. Sydney Sweeney's tits.
Sydney Sweeney was on SNL this week.
I have a proposal.
Oh, okay.
I propose that Sydney Sweeney is the official American sweetheart.
I mean, she kind of is trending that way, right?
She's trending that way. And here's the thing. We're not going to objectify anybody, but everyone's talking about Sydney Sweeney's tits, right?
Of course.
And she knows that.
Yep.
And she could be a feminist and get away and go, oh, this is toxic masculinity. I'm going to cover up. But instead, she goes on SNL and has the dogs out.
And look at her. She's wearing this dress, which is, you know, the tits dress, right? So yeah, there's sort of a thing where if you're normal, you can excel. And like, she's obviously normal girl, but on the plus end, you know?
Normal plus.
But if she leans into what she's good at, right? She knows, and it's juicing her career.
It really is. And she's not being a kill, not being a buzzkill, not being an uptight feminist. Oh,
Yeah, don't comment on it. She just keeps her head down and she'll take the free press.
She thinks it's nice, and it is nice.
Oh, it's so flattering.
Yeah,
you know?
so we love you, Sydney Sweeney. You are officially America's sweetheart.
Yeah.
Stamped.
And what's SNL trying to do? Shane Gillis and Sydney Sweeney with the cans out back to back?
They're going to realize that the things that they were trending towards are no good, and the things that they can pull out of, they can. The things they avoided, that can help them pull out.
I think so.
Something like that. All right, last page of housekeeping. Bonus landers know, as of last week, I won the weight loss challenge against Richard Ratboy, and because I won, I was rewarded with a $500 Ruth's Chris dinner, which we went to, and I want to just give a little update from Ruth's Chris. We lost Ruth's Chris. We lost it. We were there. There was a bunch of people working there. One girl had pink hair and weird emo makeup. The guy that was serving looks like he never really wore a button-down shirt before. And there was just a lot people that were hired that Ruth would not have hired.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, and also the mac and cheese had dry noodles, and it looks like the cheese came from a bag. And that's not how it used to be. So another institution gone. Ruth's Chris is officially now a mall steakhouse. Capitol Grill is way better. Probably going to lose that again soon.
Yeah.
But show watchers know who we blame.
Yeah.
The migrants.
Migrants. It was all the migrants.
We used to have a proper steakhouse, but because of migrants, you can't even have a $500 lunch and enjoy it anymore.
Yep.
But don't get too down or too depressed. Moving on to Cringe of the Week. All right, our first part of Cringe, page 1 of Cringe. This mom has 4 trans kids.
And I think we've shown this mom before. She's autistic and wears headphones, but I think she's added to her collection.
Yeah.
2022, our twin daughters came to us and told us they didn't feel like the genders they were given were truly them. Our son told us he was transgender, and our child told us they didn't feel like a boy or a girl.
Then you start giving them boy haircuts and spray painting their hair.
Yep.
Not good. So this lady has 4 trans kids. And if you go over the math of that, the odds of having 1 trans kid is 1 in 3,000. So the odds of having 4 trans kids is 1 in 87 billion.
Yeah.
And just for some context, the odds of winning the lotto is 1 in 23 million.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm not a statistician.
Yeah, you certainly aren't.
I'm not a statistician. But you're 3,782 more times likely to win the lotto than have 4 trans kids.
Wow. Shocking. We'll have to check that math later, but I'll trust you for now.
Or does that mean that you win the lotto 3,782 times before you have 4 trans kids?
I think that might be true, but I don't know. Regardless, we're going to let you guys in on a secret. It's not about the odds of having 4 trans kids. It's about what the mom wants.
Exactly. And there was a meme that summed that up. And it basically says, if you're 18 and think you're the opposite sex, you have a mental illness. If you're 8 and think you have the opposite sex, your mom has a mental illness.
Yeah. It's not a question of like trending or, if it's contagious or anything. If the mom decides you're trans, guess which way you're going? You know, soft, not fully formed brain, especially these younger kids, right?
Exactly.
It's not teenagers. Mommy wants you to be genderless. And so that's what mommy has autism. Yeah. Mommy wears headphones around. Mommy thinks you don't have a gender.
You want mommy's approval?
Yeah. Do you want the hugs and you want the care to keep coming? Because mommy can withhold.
That's exactly it.
Mommy will withhold. And, it's binary. It's not like the odds of having 4 trans kids. It's just if mommy goes like this.
Exactly. And we have some more proof of that with this trans person who has a trans dog.
Everywhere I go, people ask me, is your dog a boy or a girl? And what is my dog's name? And it makes me wish that people would treat humans like they do dogs. What most people don't know, though, is that my dog, much like myself, was assigned male at birth. However, we are both girls. Here's your friendly reminder that gender is a human made.
So once mom decides you're a girl, you're a girl.
That's it. You don't even have to talk, and mommy's going to decide for it.
And exactly. This person, 30 years ago would probably get locked up and put in a padded room. But now,
this weird gay guy with all the facial surgery and fake tits now?
Fake tits and a dick. Yeah, but now this person is going viral on TikTok with a pretty new, progressive, catchy message.
Yeah.
So obviously it needs to get nipped in the bud, and that happens when you have a strong dad.
Yeah.
I think if you have a crazy mom who wants to do some bad stuff, but you have a strong dad over the top, you can kind of keep your kid on the non-trans path. Mm-hmm. But here's a dad whose son asked him to wear an Elsa dress from Frozen, and here's how he handled it.
Okay, so my son asked me to wear an Elsa dress with him to the Frozen musical. I'm so nervous.
And then here he is. Yeah, wow. So that's how dad handled it. Dad threw a dress on too. And it's like, here's how you handle it in real life. You say, hey, buddy, no, dresses are for girls. You're a boy. That doesn't really make sense for you. Dressing in a dress to go see the Elsa musical, it's a little gay, buddy.
We can enjoy the musical without dressing up, right? Right, champ? You throw in some words like that?
Yeah, exactly. Because if you don't throw any speed bumps in, your kids' teachers, the shows they watch, the chemicals in the water they drink, and it basically puts them on a fast track to be transgender.
It's one big funnel, and you're the only thing blocking it these days. And that's the thing, too. It's like not only are you just not telling your son no to the dress, but then you have to support him so much over the top that you wear a dress. So the 8-year-old kid who's a little gay is leading this family now.
Yeah. And now, exactly. And then instead of having some real strong leadership from dad's actually weak too.
He buckled.
And now the kid runs the show and he's on a path to doing gay shit when you maybe could have just taken him to the Phillies game.
Yeah, you could have. There's a window to break him out of this too. And you know what? Even if your son's trending gay and you're like, okay, well, I don't want him to get bullied. There's a certain over the top level that you have to look out for, that your kid's not thinking of how am I going to look? How am I going to be perceived? How will other people treat me? And you're the adult and you know those answers. So you kind of have to come over the top a little bit.
Yeah.
And if he still wants to be gay when he's 18, tough break, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it plays out. You don't need to let him dress like a woman in the meantime.
Yeah.
Because if you do, he'll keep trending bad, which takes us to our next section. Sam Smith. Look at Sam Smith over the years, how he's changed from a skinny twink type to fully operated by a demon.
Fully fat pig demon gay. I don't even know what to call it. Like, here's him skinny on the first album, maybe a little eyeliner, a little makeup. He was trending. 2019, the heels are getting bigger.
And then
2022,
that slope got slippy.
Yeah, slope got slippery, clothes got gayer, and his body got sloppier.
Yep.
So...
and then, the reality is, if you're a man and you become a full-blown twink like this, you're kind of useless as a man.
Yeah.
There was a thing of Sam Smith walking in a fashion show, and here's how they dressed him up, all fat gay.
Yep.
And he's wearing some stupid outfit.
Gandalf the gay.
We don't need men to do that because you get kind of useless.
Yeah.
And here's Sam Smith maybe trying to do some typical men things. Here's him trying to change a tire.
There he is, holding his little purse.
Here's him trying to go buy something from Home Depot.
Stupid outfit. There he is. He doesn't know what brand to buy.
Oh, here's Sam Smith at the little league game.
I'm wearing a skirt.
He's just wearing a skirt. Oh, we need Sam Smith. We need you to go to war and help us defend our homeland.
Get in the foxhole, Sam.
There he is. So it doesn't end up being good.
Yeah.
And that's why you can't let your kids trend gay too fast because they're going to accelerate.
Well, I'm tired of the people who say, "Oh, dude, nothing matters. That piece of clothing doesn't have a gender." And it's like, well, we're not talking about the skirt. Obviously, in the context of Scotland, a guy can wear a skirt. Mm-hmm. But in the context of your kid having a good time in 8th grade or getting the shit beat out of him, there's realities we have to work with here.
Yeah.
And nobody should get beat up because they're gay or bullied, or nobody should be, kids are ruthless, and someone who's different and, trending not in a great way, it's going to be a rough middle school.
Exactly. All right, let's move on. We're still in Cringe. This next section, we'll start with the theater story. There's a black guy on the radio talking about why black people need to be radically invited to the theater.
No one is saying that by inviting black audiences here, you were uninvited.
On Broadway, there were nights where tickets were only sold to people who identified as black. Are you going to do that in the West End?
I'm so excited to, yeah.
You are?
Yeah. I mean, I think that one of the things that we have to remember is that people have to be radically invited into a space to know that they belong there. And in most of our country, in most places in the West, poor people and black people have been told that they do not belong inside of the theater. In America.
Are you sure this isn't all in your head, buddy?
Did you make it up? Radically invited.
Yeah, black people aren't invited to the theater. Are you sure you guys just don't really like Andrew Lloyd Webber that much?
Yeah, are you sure tickets weren't $90 and it's rent?
And you can't wear very casual clothes?
Yeah.
So, obviously this is all in this guy's head. You need to be radically invited.
Come on, get to the theater now.
Get out of the way.
Everybody get the fuck out.
This guy's more invited than everyone else. You need to clear the path.
He's going to the front row. This guy is radically invited. What does that even mean? And that's such a midwit talking point too. You just throw in radically into an everyday sentence, radically invited. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, the theater attracts who it attracts. And if it doesn't attract certain groups, it's not because they want to go so bad and they're watching in through the window and they just only have a couple pennies.
This guy acts like
Oliver Twist.
Yeah, exactly, but black. This guy acts like somebody comes out, somebody's on the street, and they see a black guy begging for change, a black homeless guy down on his luck, and then a white guy comes by, puts a couple dollars in, and goes, "I don't want to see you at the theater, you piece of shit." There's anybody can come, right?
If you see him inside, what are you doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
Let it keep going. It goes a little bit further and worse.
The idea of a blackout night is to say, this is a night that we are specifically inviting black people to fill up the space, to feel safe with a lot of other black people in a place where they often do not feel safe.
Okay, and does it?
Yeah, well, statistically, now that all the black people are in the theater, it's probably safer to be outside the theater. It's probably not that safe to be.
If I was a black person and I was choosing an all-white crowd or an all-black crowd for safety, I think even you guys know. Even you'll admit that white crowd, you're probably not going to run into any safety issues.
Yeah, exactly. But this is what happens.
The white theater crowd, notoriously violent.
Yeah, loud, too.
Loud, violent, and they'll discourage you from coming.
Yeah. So this is obviously what happens. We see this a lot, but whenever there's like a space that's typically not for everybody, it needs to be changed so the people that aren't in that space fit in. Like, there's not enough black women pilots. And maybe that's just because certain people gravitate towards being a pilot.
Did they serve in the Air Force? Did they go to the Air Force? Because that's where we get a lot of them.
Exactly. But the space needs to be switched so everyone is equally represented. And that's what happened with the women in engineering thing. We covered this, I think, in Bonus Land, but basically, like, the effort to get women into engineering in colleges and stuff has resulted in the changing of engineering culture, where it used to be kind of like weird-ish, nerdy white guys.
Nothing matters, just the end result, get it done.
And it's like
antisocial
white guys on computers who are like, and they like computers. And then women are like, oh, this stuff's boring. This is nerdy. We need more women in the space. And it's like, the space is a certain way, and it attracts engineers. You're trying to change the way the space is to attract everybody, but then you're making the space not conducive for
it's no longer the space.
It's no longer the space that makes a productive group into engineers.
Yeah.
So it's like you're sacrificing what made the space good for engineers in an attempt to equally fill the space, but not everyone's supposed to be an engineer.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
kind of it. Like, so that's what this is. There was another person who's radically invited into a space. This woman was a doctor, and the caption says, can you read what it says?
Why would I even try to become a physician with a D+ in biology, C in general chemistry, and a C in organic chemistry? Why would she even try?
Let's see. And she's coming through the door.
She's in a lab coat.
And she says, because I'm stubborn. And, that's what being radically invited is.
You're radically invited into medical school. Even if you're
even a C- average, you're radically invited anyway, and you can still be a doctor. You're radically invited.
And it's not because of your grades, but you're radically invited to start working on patients. And you're radically invited to get some malpractice insurance.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, you might need that. A D? You got a D in bio?
You're going to be a doctor? And, it means lowering the standards. Like, the standards are what made something exceptional. Like, being a lawyer or a doctor was hard. But then you lower the standards to let everyone else in, and then it's not what it was anymore.
Yeah. Now it's like, okay, a lawyer, it's anybody who got into law school. How do you get into law school? Sometimes you don't even need a good LSAT.
Yeah.
And you know what those cases are.
I do. Well, don't get too down or too depressed.
Not the safe theater.
It's going to get a little worse. We're moving on to Urban Decay. There was a brawl at Six Flags. So there was a new Six Flags?
New Six Flags that just opened outside of Atlanta. Atlanta, you know the demo of Atlanta, 50% black, basically. And I don't know. It wasn't a fight. It was a series of skirmishes that popped up like an old school battle in, I don't know, colonial New England.
That's what it seems like.
Skirmishes, I would call it.
Skirmishes.
I don't know. And there's some music on this, but you can see.
It's everyone just crowds, people running, a fight, people running, a fight leading to more fighting.
The police
everywhere. And this is at Six Flags. So, there's a brawl. The girls are fighting, pulling their hair. Six Flags security guys are trying to stop it. And I guess we can't have Six Flags anymore. Sorry, kids. Doesn't make sense to go.
Well, if I'm a nice young family on the outskirts of Atlanta and I see this on opening day, I go, guess that's not on the table for me and my family.
Yeah, exactly. I want reparations for this.
Six Flags doesn't have the will to control the crowds, so guess I won't be going. And then it kind of becomes that like roving teenager band zone.
That's what the difference is.
Yeah.
Like the fights, when I'm watching clips like this, a fight starts... And, you might be thinking, oh, white people fight too.
They do.
At Daytona 500, I'm sure there's drunk white fights.
Oh, there's a knockout in the pit.
All the time. But what happens? It gets broken up. Hey, break it up, guys.
Whoa, come on. It's not worth it, guys. Come on.
The hey, break it up does not exist in black culture, unfortunately, because I don't want to be conspiracy oriented, but I think it's because that's like a dad's voice.
Yeah.
A dad thing is, hey, break it up, guys.
Yeah.
But when you don't have that, the fight just goes. And what they do also, which is different than white culture, is a brawl in white culture would get broken up or everyone's kind of watching. In black culture, a brawl turns to more brawls.
It begets more brawls, yeah.
Exactly. So if I'm fighting you, they're going to start fighting, then they're going to start fighting, then I'm going to get sucker punched by this guy. Everyone's in the fight now.
And that's why I use the term skirmishes to describe it, because it's like one pops up over here and then like something else pops up over here and then everybody needs to run.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get the running.
And then your whole night is like chilling until something pops off, then a fight, and we all run, and then we chill till something pops off, then another fight happens and we run. You're kind of just like running all over the amusement park, running from fights.
Yeah, but it's very rare. I'm not going to say it's totally non-existent, but you very rarely see that, hey, break it up energy. You know? This is not the place to fight. Hey, break it up. This is crazy. And you know what's the funniest thing to me? Opening day of Six Flags. Your city they spent probably 2 years doing construction, working on the rides.
Probably cost $100 million.
Like, yeah, capital expenditure to bring that in. And we just want to fight and get in brawls and like cause mischief. It's like, that's not a happy time.
Yeah.
That's not a safe theater.
Yeah.
These kids were not radically invited. I'm just combining all issues into one thing.
And then there's some people who are catching on to the bad behavior. Our friend Typical Liberal posted this on his story. It was at a 7-Eleven, and it said, current state of America. Can you read the sign on the window?
Due to $3,000 worth of damage done to the store by local students, no students after school hours, 3:30 to 5:30, will be permitted on the property without a parent present. We apologize for the inconvenience.
Students.
So
they're catching on that students are the problem.
Yeah, right at 3:30 to 5:30.
Non-bowlers, students, strangers,
heartless muggers. I don't know. It's crazy.
So I think my theory, and I believe it's true, a lot of this violence and bad behavior comes from the rap music, or is instilled in the rap music, or encouraged in the rap music. Listen to this rap song and how bad it is.
Knife on the stick, trying to get jiggy. They had found that boy alive, all of his body parts was missing. It's time to spin, let's go get busy. Bitch, I'm hanging out of the trunk, he breaking BK, come through the creek.
Demon sounds.
Isn't that like demon seance music?
He's radically inviting a demon to come into your life, I think. I don't know.
And the lyrics and the beat like get you going, and it's kind of like in the same way Taylor Swift like sweeps away those liberal white girls.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it's kind of the same thing. Like urban youth get swept away by this like drill rap, and they're just like and they play it in their
body
car.
parts is missing. And body parts is missing. And it's like, if he's rapping about body parts is missing, you might as well knock out your teacher. You might as well knock her teeth out.
You
right?
didn't see anything like that, but you can go all the way up to body parts missing.
Exactly.
You can bring the gun to school because body parts is missing.
Yeah.
So it makes people go crazy. They play it while they're driving, and then it kind of encourages them to do crimes. And I think like the beat does something primal and dark. Like there's certain types of like energies in music where it's like uplifting or like
tones. There's
classical music is probably great frequency. This one is a little more lower vibration, demonic.
Yeah.
And it leads to the stuff we're seeing.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next clip. This guy got mad at the Walmart person because they asked to see his receipt.
Which I believe they do to every single customer, right?
Yeah, every time I go, they do that.
Y'all, this lady just tried to stop me coming out of Walmart thinking I stole this shit. Somebody please let this white lady know who the fuck I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm in Walmart with this shit, bitch. I ain't doing no capping. Fuck wrong with you? My receipt in the bag, bitch. Get the fuck on.
So it's literally her job to ask everybody. And then you can kind of even extrapolate and go, well, what did the last 50 people who stole look like? They probably looked like you.
I don't know. Maybe.
You know,
she probably knows better than we do.
Yeah. So like it's her job. She's supposed to ask everybody. And then he's like offended, that she's racist, that he has to show his receipt. When it's like,
So he had to show this Walmart receipt checker that he had about $620 on him. I don't like, what's that?
Yeah, he showed her.
He showed her a lot.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to.
That's what someone would do if they stole. Yeah, go show him the money and then.
Let's go to the fast food fight. This was pretty interesting.
Well, this is a tenet of our show at this point, right?
But as you know, show watchers know, once you hear the repeating, it's over.
Bitch hit me. Bitch hit me.
Exactly.
Bitch hit me.
The repeating is like a low IQ war cry, and it never, once the repeating starts, it never de-escalates.
I don't think I've once seen cooler heads prevail when the repeating war cry came out.
Yeah, exactly. So once you hear the repeating, it's time to go.
Yeah.
And a show watcher actually made a meme for us, and they made us look very Chad.
Thank you.
But bitch hit me, bitch hit me, bitch hit me, and then you say, we should leave. Let's go.
Yeah, we updated the meme for this particular moment.
It's science. All right, last clip of Urban Decay, the attack at 7-Eleven.
This is another kind of touching on the break it up mentality. And then also it kind of touches on the having a governor mentality as well. So let's let this play. This kind of a long clip, but it gets crazy, right?
Yep.
Mr. Nadler.
This is the Mega Saver at 144th and Blondo. It's just after 5 the evening of February 16th. The suspect is in that brown coat. It starts innocently enough. She walks up to the counter, a small child by her side, and asks for an iPhone charger.
In an iPhone charger for a car.
Those are along the wall.
Come on first.
She's there for a while, and there's some sort of disagreement about buying the charger.
I'll pay for it. That's cool. But if it doesn't work in my car, can I return it?
There's a mix-up, and she starts getting upset.
Nah, I just feel like I'm being discriminated because I think I don't know what y'all saying, and that shit pisses me off.
Then she says some profanities, which upsets a couple of the customers. The yelling begins, and so does the little girl's crying. And then things get physical.
Don't keep. Oh my God!
After hitting a woman 2 more times, she turns on the other one.
You want to get slapped too? You want to get slapped too? Come on.
So the kid's yelling, stop,
and
stop,
grabbing
stop.
the little girl's hand, she starts to leave, but decides instead to try and stop the woman on the floor. Then she leaves. That's it, right? Well, no. After getting the child in the car, she comes back, and it gets real ugly.
Oh no, here she comes again. What? Ma'am. What'd you say? Ma'am. What'd you say? Ma'am. What'd you say? What? Ma'am. What'd you say? Ma'am. Ma'am.
Pickle jar.
Full pickle jar, smashes it on the ground, on their head, on the ground, breaks. And that's who we're dealing with. And she got confused at first, then she got mad, and then she started doing crazy shit. And the baby was the one that some sense was going, no, no, please stop, please stop.
The kid had good instincts.
Yeah, and I guess the police would describe this as a human with height and a tan jacket.
Yeah, exactly. they would say, like, iPhone charger assaults 3, you know? iPhone salesman, whatever.
Yeah, she threw the pickle jar that broke on the guy's head. Pickle jar attacked.
But there's, yeah. we're getting D minus. D minus from both of us. But honestly, this woman, like, there's no governor. There's no break it up. There's no that's enough. And the faces are blurred on this. But, you know, you got to assume this is like some sort of elderly woman, the way she didn't get up from getting like just 2 hands shoved. So beating up the elderly, destroying people. And then like, we probably didn't play it at the beginning, but this said this was from February 16th. The Six Flags thing was from this weekend, right? So people like to say like, why do you cover these videos or why do you do this? Like, this is current. This shit is coming out. And there's just absolutely no governor on the behavior. Nobody's above saying, hey, we look crazy, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Why is there so many black people in Urban Decay?
It's like they did a lot of shit this week.
Yeah, they were busy.
And we got to collect the clips. We probably missed some.
It makes us busy too.
Yeah.
They're keeping us, they're keeping our jobs alive.
Yeah.
Well, don't get too down or too depressed. We're moving on to uplifting gold, and we do have some uplifting gold.
All right.
First things first, a truck was hanging off the edge of a bridge, and then the guy got rescued.
Semi-truck somehow dangling off the edge of the Clark Memorial Bridge. We don't know exactly how this happened yet. Rescue crews trying to get to him. Now, when they pull out, you'll see off to the top right of your screen, you'll see the fire truck and all the firefighters up there. But this rescuer went down and just did a miraculous thing. And we couldn't We couldn't believe what our eyes were seeing, and we're so glad that we were able to break out of a commercial to come and let you watch this at this moment. I wasn't sure that we would catch it. I wasn't sure that it would happen.
All right.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Thanks, men.
Thank you, man.
Probably a white guy.
Certainly. There's a woman truck driver, too, unfortunately.
Well, that explains how the truck got in that position.
Yeah. There's nothing. This is pretty. Everyone's fulfilling their roles here. I
She
don't
was
know.
radically invited to be a truck driver.
I'm sure. Radically incentivized by Swift.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the next one. The guy did a skiing trick, and he videoed his friend's skiing trick. POV reporting your friend landed a trick he worked all day on.
And he landed it.
Fully missed it.
Yep.
That's pretty good. All right, let's go to the cat song next. This was pretty impressive. When I see people doing good musical bits, it always hits a chord with me. I think that's very impressive.
Nothing is ever as it seems, like a cat saying hi. It might sound like grand.
Isn't that good?
Not for me.
You don't like
Personally,
that?
not for me. I don't know.
I really get impressed by catchy lyrics.
All right.
That's why I like musicals.
Okay.
That's why I don't need to be radically invited to the theater.
Yeah.
'Cause I
He
already
shows
like it.
up. He's just enthusiastic.
Happy to be here. I
Yeah.
don't need to be shoved in with cheap tickets.
Exactly. My favorite is the passing a black guy in the street. Stay out of the theater. Stay out of the fucking
See
theater.
that majestic building right there?
As if they're
Not for you.
That's not for you. Seats taken.
Yeah. All right. Second to last clip. The kid stole candies and got caught.
Where are they gone?
I gonna
You don't know. So who ate them all?
someone come round and they just ate them all.
Someone come around and ate the cakes.
Yeah.
So someone broke into a home and ate Mr. Kipling's Angel Slices. Didn't take the TV, didn't take, some jewellery. They took these cakes.
And it was a black man.
Well, statistically.
Good instincts, kid.
Statistically, probably would have been.
Yeah.
I don't know. We can't prove it.
I don't know. Well, we may never know.
Yeah. I've taken that kid's word for it. I believe that kid. Yeah. All right. Last clip of Uplifting Gold and the entire show. This kid is passionate about the American Revolutionary War.
There you go, buddy. The Revolutionary War.
Oliver Thibault Dean may not be a founding father, but the 7-year-old is a fixture here. He's visited close to 50 times since the museum opened just last year.
I heard staff talking about Oliver's here again, Oliver's here again.
Oliver's obsession started with a school assignment at age 5, then a trip to Washington, and anything about the Revolutionary War he could get his hands on.
So who of you is the history buff? Neither of us. Just you.
Just Oliver.
His parents, Jenna and Chris, are learning as they go. Mom now hand sews the outfits. Oliver takes being authentic very seriously.
Here we go. How do I look? Like I belong in 1776? No.
He prefers the 18th century card game Whist to video games.
You win again. I think you have cards up your colonial sleeves here. Do you guys think this is a phase? I feel like 2 years for a phase is a long time.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, kids get obsessed with shit.
And it's basically a matter of what you introduce them to early. He got an assignment when he was 5 years old about the American Revolution, and something just clicked in his brain.
Took off.
He took off. And it's like the opposite of the kid who wants to wear the Elsa dress.
I know.
That kid got obsessed with gay Disney musicals.
Elsa.
So as the kid's going to get obsessed with something, why don't you introduce like dinosaurs, trucks, baseball, the American Revolution, and then you can kind of like give your kid those 10 options, and then whatever he wants to get obsessed with, he can get obsessed with.
And you win either way, yeah.
Yeah, but when you don't, the kid's going to get obsessed with something, and if you don't introduce anything to him, their kindergarten teacher who's transgender
is going to introduce some non-binary shit to them.
It's going to introduce something for them to really latch into.
Yep.
All right, well, another Fleckus Talks in the books. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. FleckusMerch.com for the best merch in the game. Make sure you join us for Bonus Land. We have a Bonus Land, 30-minute Bonus Land episode dropping right now. It's got a lot of good stuff. We're going to be going over some things and some clips and some stuff that didn't make it into the show, but is still very entertaining and fun. So make sure you guys go sign up there and then send me a screenshot showing you signed up, and you will get a follow back on the social media of your choice. Any last words, Richard?
No, nothing. You're all radically invited to Bonus Land.
Yes. Yeah, you're radically invited to Bonus Land. Please sign up. We will see you there, and if we don't see you there, we'll see you on Friday.
What's your name?
Shakuku.
What?
Shakuku.